Today on Keep Alive, I want to look at the woman in New York that is yelling and screaming sexual harassment by a young boy that inside a New York deli. You won't want to miss this one as I talk about PC uncorrectness. We'll be right back. I'm William Lee, host of Keep Alive, podcaster, podcast producer, and the founder of the Kiva Agency for Digital Marketing. I've read some really interesting stuff throughout the year on sexual harassment, PTSD, homelessness, and the list goes on. But the last article sent to me through the email by one of my listeners really shocked me. It seems that a New York woman is facing significant backlash after she calls 911 on a young boy last week claiming that he sexually assaulted her. Yes, that's correct. A 9-year-old who sexually assaulted a grown adult white woman. Now, of course, the young man who is supposed perpetrator is an African American. What happened here is interesting. So let's take a look at the facts as I found them on the social media. It seems that the video that was portrayed of this terrible offensive assault shows a normal delicatessen in New York, a lot of people wandering through the aisles, and this young lady leaning across the counter. Now, obviously, she was either picking something out or finishing a transaction with the clerk. At the moment of impact by this little 9-year-old kid who had a great big school backpack on his back. You know, you've seen him with the kids. In fact, if you have kids, you know how much stuff they can stuff into a backpack, especially on their way going to school. Well, this young man, like no other children in America, had everything he needed for the day. He was out with his mom and his sister, and they were excited. It was a family get-together. Now, he has this backpack on. He's coming through the line, and like little kids always do, they're looking up and following to make sure that they keep track of their mom and head towards the door. As he's heading towards the door, swinging back and forth a little bit, his backpack nudges, by accident, the rear end of this lady who is standing there talking to, obviously, the clerk. Now, this is on a surveillance video from the deli, by the way. Now, the next thing you know, this woman stands up straight and heads outside, yelling that she's been sexually assaulted. She grabs her telephone, dials 911, and makes it clear to the 4 or 5 people standing outside the deli that she's calling because she has been sexually assaulted by a 9-year-old. The poor little kid, who doesn't even probably understand the word assaulted, let alone sexually, is looking up at his mom, who is yelling back at the other woman. And the natural, shall we say, exchange of thoughts, causing a great amount of attention outside in the middle of the public sidewalk. Well, this woman imaginably dials this thing. She's talking to the police officer. She's demanding action be taken, of course. Now, what is interesting is that she told police that the boy grabbed her, well, you know what, at the deli market inside the store and made this assaultment on her body so evident that it just terrified her. She was terrified over this incident. Well, here's something that really I found very interesting, because all of this was naturally video by a camera phone outside the store where the argument really heated up and people really got to be, shall we say, interested in putting in 2 cents worth, hecklers, etc. And at one point, I want you to understand, if you could see this in a video caption, this woman is standing up, pointing her finger back, saying, and I quote, "I'm a police officer." Isn't that interesting? Well, folks, no, she denied that. She said she never said that she was a police officer. She never claimed that she was a police officer. But yet, I want you to understand, but yet, you can see and hear her say, "I'm a police officer," when this actual, I would say, debate really heated up. Now, the reporters of this story from the Daily Wire checked in with the New York Police Department to confirm if the call had been received. The New York PD never had a report pertaining to any such incident and said that it, in their records, didn't exist. Well, maybe she forgot to push the 911 and waited for somebody to answer the phone. Or maybe she didn't press 911 at all and she was standing there for her glory of the spotlight of, wow, reality television on the street corner with a sexual assault hanging over a 9-year-old child. When this lady was asked to talk to news people about the media and the incidences, well, she did. She talked to them all right. She denied everything and is staying claim to her story that she did call in and that she was sexually assaulted. And how could this happen to her in a busy marketplace? Well, I don't know how it could happen. Ha ha. I wonder if she rides the subway or gets on a city bus. I'll bet you she's a riot there. The news reporters continue to look at the Daily Wire for some other interesting, shall we say, news phenomena and find out that she has a repeated, shall we say, call for help, Chicken Little style, that the sky is falling in on her. And now she's very upset because people are heckling her. Can you imagine that? Somehow or another, her phone number got out and people are calling her, well, names that aren't really fit to be on a podcast or any other broadcast. However, she is, in her mind, the victim. She did nothing wrong, and that she was completely attacked by a 9-year-old child. I don't know if she mentally wanted to have a 15 minutes of glory and thought that she could pull this one off. I don't know. I don't know if she felt that there was a tension there, that she could get attention over simply by saying, hey, that was a black little boy and I'm a white woman. I don't know. I don't know what goes through people's minds that aren't thinking clearly. But I'll tell you something, right off my social media bat, she struck out with me. She's lying, and it's evident. She's in denial, that's evident. And last but not least, she's really soaking up this wonderful opportunity, saying that she's the victim and being on social media. When this hit Facebook, it went viral. And it'll go viral on every platform throughout the nation. But you know what's the sad part about this is? That young little guy, 9 years old, who did absolutely nothing wrong, had to witness his mom getting into a horrible discussion with this lady in the front street. The little kid was absolutely traumatized as he cried because he didn't understand. How do you do this to your children? I don't know. And why do people go out of their way to start these type of controversies? Just because they can have their 5 minutes or 10 minutes on social media? What is it worth? Well, here's how I look at it. A, the woman's made a complete fool out of herself. And B, she's wrecked a little kid's heart. He may or may not ever understand the reason why. If you'd like to comment on this show or let me know if I'm right or wrong on what I had to say about this show, please get a hold of me at keebaagency@gmail.com. That's KEEBA agency@gmail.com. Now, I read all of these emails, and I'll be more than happy to answer back to you. And if you're interested, maybe we can hook up someday and do a joint podcast. I'd like that. Our doors are always open. We're always excited when the community responds and we can just start a little conversation. Until I talk to you again, have a great day. And remember, if you see the world in a positive light, you'll always keep smiling.